The hand wrist. We're going to start dorsally, beginning with the extensor dorsal compartments. The first compartment, abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis. Keep in mind, we're going to view these in all in two planes, both in long and short axis, in the essence of being thorough. And then going into the second dorsal compartment, the extensor carpi radialis brevis and longus, coming over Lister's tubercle to the extensor pollicis longus, looking at that in two planes, as well as the extensor indices, extensor digiti minimi, and the extensor digitorum communis, and going over to the ulnar side, looking at the extensor carpi ulnaris and the triangular fibrocartilage complex, which is, in essence, is actually a separate exam, but I like to include that in the dorsal exam, just like I said, in the essence of being thorough. And then flipping the hand over, we'll look at the ventral side, identify the median nerve in the mid forearm, follow the median nerve into the carpal tunnel, the retinaculum, and underneath the transverse ligament, as well as we'll look at the flexor pollicis longus and the extensor flexor tendons, Guillon's canal, ulnar nerve, artery, and back to the dorsal side. I neglected to mention, it's important to look at the carpal rows and the joint recesses. We're looking for erosive changes. Typically, your cystic formations will be over those areas, typically the scapholunate, as well as we'll look at the scapholunate ligament and identify how to perform an exam dynamically to stress that ligament in when you're looking for tears. We will also look at both volar and dorsally, metacarpophalangeal joints, interphalangeal joints, and distal interphalangeal joints, typically looking for erosive changes, health of the tendon gliding, and that sort of thing. A separate exam, we will I'll also go over the ulnar collateral ligament of the thumb, looking for a Stenner's lesion, and how to separate out a full Stenner lesion versus an isolated ligament tear or sprain. And again, the beauty of the ultrasound is being able to perform that exam dynamically. Okay, so let's start with the dorsal wrist, and we will start by identifying the first dorsal compartment. So typically, patient position will help you out with these views. So I like to have them start with their kind of wrist in anatomic neutral. Starting in short axis here. So a good way to kind of establish where we're at, remember that the first compartment up at the distal third of the